energy forecast for Monday, April 3rd. So today we'll have the moon in Virgo all day. Of course, we shifted into this Virgo energy yesterday morning, really having us focus in on the details of our lives. What is crazy? What is chaotic? What is broken? What hurts? The reason being is that this Virgo energy is a healer, a fixer, a problem solver. And that's exactly what we are setting out to do while the moon is in Virgo energy. Now keep in mind that Virgo energy, although an earth sign, is ruled over by Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, and really puts us in a situation where whatever it is that we focus on in our mental plane, we can actually manifest through that earth energy. Now even more than that, we have Mercury, the Virgo ruler, moving into Taurus energy, a sister earth sign to Virgo energy. So if you haven't taken a listen to the astro forecast that I put out for Mercury moving into Taurus, should definitely do so. You maybe want to catch up on the April energy forecast that I put out as well. A little bit of an intro there, giving you a rundown on what it is that you should expect from the month. And of course, download your zodiac forecast so that you know where these astro events are taking place in your chart and where it is that they will have the most impact in your life. So there are 12 different aspects here today. 10 of them involve the moon. The moon in Virgo will be making a very positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer. This is a great example of getting down to the nitty-gritty and really identifying our wounds. Again, we have to feel it in order for us to heal it. The moon in Virgo, very analytical, diving into the details of where these wounds came from, where it is that we're keeping them alive, what it is that we're doing to actually make them a part of our identity, because of course realizing that means that we can compartmentalize, we can analyze, we can override the program. This is definitely speaking of a certain depth of growth, of improvement, of betterment, and again, just having the realization on where it is that in our lives the energy is asking for our attention to heal, to fix, to problem solve. This is going to be a huge indicator on where some of those heavier thoughts, heavier emotions are going through a very, very intense transformation. The moon in Virgo will interact with the sun in Aries energy, giving us a little bit of an opportunity to see a choice point, to see a decision point. Of course, the moon in Virgo energy definitely wants us to analyze the steps, the levels to the plan, to the strategy that we really have to comprehend, we really have to kind of sort through before actually taking action. And of course, that sun's doing in that Aries energy is shining a bright light on where it is that we want to create something new, where we have to initiate a new path, where we have to take action, take the leadership role, and actually push ourselves forward. The moon in Virgo will be making a positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. Of course, Jupiter is in this Aries energy as well, and we are definitely starting to see where it is that we are willing to step outside of our comfort zones to create a new opportunity, a new path, a new direction, to really see us expand and grow, not only in our visions and our dreams, not only in our identity and who it is that we are, but pushing the boundaries of what it is that we're actually capable of. The moon in Virgo, yes, will keep us grounded because, of course, we can get a little bit inflated with this Jupiter energy. But realistically speaking, we are hyping ourselves up. We are tapping into a confidence and optimism that isn't overinflated, that isn't overly dramatic. We are being reasonable, logical, practical in what it is that we are creating as far as dreams, visions, and goals go. 12:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, ruler of communication, moving into Taurus energy, really slowing down the mental plane, really grounding us out. Of course, we already have Venus in her place of power in this Taurus energy. So having the mental plane ruler move into this Taurus energy is definitely going to allow us to slow down, to really take stock, take an inventory, if you will, on what it is that we need to change in our routines, our relationships, our money matters, where it is that we have to create more space for happiness, joy, pleasure to actually enter into our realms. And of course, take a listen to the astro forecast, like I previously mentioned, in order to figure out what this transit is going to mean. And heads up, we are going to go retrograde in this Taurus energy towards the end of the month. Another very positive and valid reason why you should download your zodiac forecast and maybe even download the Aries season e-guide. The moon in Virgo will make an interaction with Mercury right out of the gate. We're not in this Mercury Taurus energy for very long before the moon in Virgo is going to have an interaction with Mercury. So Mercury rules over Virgo energy. This is definitely going to be more of an intense energy and interaction than the other placements here today. The moon is our heart space, our emotions, our unconscious self. And Mercury, of course, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information and communication. We are just getting our bearings now in this Taurus energy. We're going to realize where it is that our emotions and our headspace, they're not on the same page, and what it is that we actually have to do to get them on the same page. Again, we are leaning into the fixing, healing, problem-solving energy of Virgo. We just have to identify where the gaps are, where the distance is, in order for us to actively try to bridge that gap and get that heart and head back on the same page. We have the moon in Virgo bumping into Pluto. And of course, Pluto, the great transformer himself, is in this Aquarian energy. What we have going on here is a little bit of a kerfuffle. Again, we need to highlight where the dysfunction, where the chaos, where the craziness is in order for us to fix it. And as you've heard me previously mention, Pluto loves to do a deep dive in the psyche. Virgo energy, all up in the psyche. And what we're doing here is we're peeling back the layers on what it is that we actually need to focus on in the here and now, the smaller puzzle pieces, in order to click them together and start revealing the greater, grander image, the greater, grander picture, the greater, grander dream that, of course, that Aquarian energy that Pluto's in is trying to help us hone in on. We have to have the end result, the end picture, the end goal, in order to break it down into small, manageable pieces. Again, Virgo energy, very focused on the smaller details. In order for us to make a change and a transformation, Pluto energy, in the here and now, especially emotionally, moon energy, in order for us to see what it is that we have to boss up, what it is we have to take control over, what it is we have to fix, we have to solve, we have to heal in order to actually bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. The moon will interact with Chiron again. This time, not the nicest interaction, especially compared to the one that we had to kick this day off. So obviously, this little interaction with Pluto, and even the interaction with Mercury, who's just fresh in this Taurus energy, it's bringing some things up for us. We're definitely realizing where we're cluster effed, where we're having a little bit of a kerfuffle, trying to work things out in our head space, work things out in our heart space. And of course, Chiron aspected in a negative aspect is going to bring up all the wounds, all the not so nice thoughts, all the not so nice feels. Now, the Virgo energy does put us in a situation where we are a little bit overly judgmental, super highly critical, especially of ourselves. And although we do have to kind of fall victim of tearing ourselves down and really picking apart our mental narrative in order for us to build it up in a better way, these types of placements never feel good. And here's the thing. We move into this energy, and then we have Mercury, fresh in this Taurus energy, getting into the boxing ring and squaring off with Pluto, who is at the very beginning energies of Aquarius. So what does this do? Well, first of all, it puts us in a very dark mental space. Why is that? Well, because we become a little bit suspicious of some ulterior motives, some agendas of other people. We're not really feeling like we're trusting those people around us. We're also realizing that we have a lot of hidden fears, a lot of doubts, a lot of insecurities coming up, but a lot of that is because we feel the urgency to take action, to make a move, to commit to one path, to one direction, while we're still lacking a lot of clarity. And we're fearful that we don't have the details. We don't have the information that we need to have a full scale spectrum on where it is that the choices are actually going to lead us when we don't feel well informed. We are also realizing where in our communications and conversations, where we don't feel seen, where we don't feel heard. We are really kind of upset right now that we are trying to express ourselves, but we don't seem to be taken seriously by the people that we're trying to actually have this connection with. We are highly concerned that we're being misunderstood on so many different levels. And because of that, now we're kind of sitting in a funk. We really want people to understand us. And even more than that, there's this aggressive part of us right now that want people to not only hear us, not only see us, but to agree with us. And we can get real up in arms, if you will, when we realize that people aren't on the same page. And I'm not going to say we're avoidant of confrontation, but it's definitely not something that we want to spend our time and energy on. Again, we're a little bit more deliberate with our words with Mercury now in Taurus, and we really don't want to waste that time or energy. But it just doesn't feel good to constantly be misunderstood, to have people not understand where you're coming from, to have them not agree with your mindset, with your thoughts, with your ideas, with your opinions. And of course, as if that isn't frustrating enough, it actually puts us in a kind of paranoid situation as well. We think there's something wrong with us. How come we don't seem to be in alignment with other people? How come people are seeing the worst in our ideas and in our expressions than what it is that we were actually trying to convey? And so what happens is we start picking things apart, because of course Virgo energy, right? We have to like dissect things and break them down to the smallest little details possible. And what happens is we start getting a bit obsessive with our thinking. We are really kind of tunnel visioned in, and we are a little bit sensitive. We are a little bit just not feeling like we're on the same page with a lot of people, and it becomes to be a little bit isolating, which of course never feels good. Now, the moon is going to help us out a little bit because we're going to make a positive interaction with Mars. Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, and this Cancer energy that isn't really helping anyone out, if we're being honest. What we are doing in this Cancer energy is we're feeling the feels. And most of those feels are super defensive, highly protective, a little bit passive aggressive, if I do say so myself. And the moon interacting with Mars in this way, lucky for us, is a positive aspect, which means that we're leaning more on refining our ideas, especially where new inspirations, new excitements, new motivations are kicking in. We're really trying to refine what that actually looks like, really kind of establish a solid strategy, a solid plan to actually go ahead and prepare to take action on, which of course excites Mars all kinds of ways, because he's been stunted out in making any kind of action for a very long time, let's say like 7 months. And so there is a lot of hope here, right? We're really trying to like bump ourselves up with the hopes, with the dreams, with the wishes, with the ideas, with the inspiration. We're trying to motivate ourselves. And so, you know, in this Cancer energy, it's got to be about the feels. And we're starting to feel like we are prepared to actually take moves and make actions to pursue a path in moving forward. The moon in Virgo will trine, which is a beautiful energy, with Uranus, the great awakener, who of course is in Taurus energy. Virgo energy, Taurus energy, that's some earth on earth. So we are definitely stabilizing our thoughts, our emotions. We recognize, because of course Uranus shows us where change is needed the most, where we have to shift our perspective, our perception, our mindset, and really open up to new ideas, to new methods, to new ways ways of doing things. And because he's in Taurus energy, this is a good examination of our physical realm, of our physical bodies, how it is that we're feeling, how it is that we're taking care of ourselves, how it is that our physical body is responding to the environment that we're putting ourselves in, to the thoughts, to the emotions that we are kind of triggering and activating within ourselves. We're taking a good look at our routines, at our relationships, at our money matters. What feels good, what doesn't? What feels strong, what doesn't? What brings happiness, what doesn't? And of course, by examining what doesn't, that Virgo energy kicks in and we're about to solve some problems. We're about to come up with some solutions here, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. The moon will make an aspect with the true node. The true node, of course, or should I say the north node in Taurus energy, is our soul path, our soul mission, the path that we need to be on to kind of reach our soul's potential. And so although we are still kind of stuck in the visualization planning stage of where it is that we want to go, we are making progress. And what I will say is that we're tending to make that progress by focusing on the things that are not working, that aren't feeling good, that aren't kind of sitting well with us. Because again, that's how the Virgo energy operates. We have to examine the funk in order to figure out how to fix the funk. And we are doing just that. So there is a little bit of growth, a little bit of improvement taking place here. We're just not at the place or space in time where we are going to take action and exactly exert ourselves on the path of happiness, creation, initiation that we are currently contemplating and actually taking. The last aspect that we have here today is the moon in Virgo interacting with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, and blessings and abundance. But this is a little bit of a tougher aspect than the one that we had earlier in the day. Instead, we're kind of sucking the life out of the confidence, the optimism, the hype, the excitement that we had. And we don't mean to do this to ourselves, but we have to understand that this Virgo energy really does kind of err on the side of being a little bit negative, because you have to be negative, you have to be judgmental in order to actually have discernment. And so we kind of do squash the inflated dreams, visions, goals, ideas that Jupiter wants to hype us up in. And we squash that just to kind of bring us down a couple of pegs, because again, Virgo energy, earth energy, we have to be logical and practical. We can't just dream the biggest dream and actually expect for it to be achievable. We have to dream the biggest dream that we could possibly dream and then throw some logic and practicality on that and see what it is that we're actually able to achieve and what it is that it was just going to remain in imaginary land. So obviously it doesn't feel good to have the wind knocked out of our sails, but it is necessary to this process of analyzing where it is that we have to kind of bring things back down to earth, ground ourselves out, and think very realistically on what it is that we can actually set out and achieve.